And if I told you that 99% of marriages fail to achieve their divine purpose not because couples choose the wrong partners or lack communication skills or fail to compromise enough, but because they enter marriage seeking to get happiness from another person rather than to give divine love as expressions of God, and that I can teach you tonight the exact spiritual principles and consciousness practices that will transform any marriage from a battlefield of conflicting egos into a sacred partnership where two souls help each other toward God realization while experiencing a depth of love that worldly marriages never achieve? What if I reveal to you that marriage is not primarily a social institution or legal contract or romantic relationship, but a spiritual yoga, a divine device designed to help souls transcend their selfish limitations by learning unconditional love, selfless service, and ego surrender through daily practice with the one person who mirrors back all their unhealed wounds and undeveloped virtues, and that when approached with this consciousness, marriage becomes the fastest path to spiritual enlightenment available to householders? This is not idealistic philosophy or religious moralizing. This is spiritual science based on the divine law underlying true soul union, the law that governs how masculine and feminine energies must balance and unite to create wholeness. And when you understand and apply this law through the practices I am about to teach, your marriage will transform from source of suffering into source of liberation. I am Paramahansa Yogananda, and though I chose the path of renunciation and never married in this lifetime, I have guided thousands of married couples from misery to harmony by teaching them the spiritual principles of divine marriage that I learned from studying the soulmate unions of great masters and from direct perception of God's original plan for human partnership. Today I give you these exact principles and the daily practices that will create spiritual harmony in your marriage starting tonight. Before we proceed, activate the frequency of divine union by writing in the comments, "My marriage is a sacred partnership guiding both souls toward God." This is not hope for better relationship. It is recognition of marriage's true spiritual purpose, and by declaring this, you shift from consumer consciousness to spiritual consciousness. Now pay absolute attention, because what I am about to reveal will expose why most marriages fail and show you how to create the rare marriage that succeeds on all levels. The catastrophic reason that the majority of marriages end in divorce or continue as prisons of resentment, boredom, and mutual disappointment, with couples who once felt passionate love now barely tolerating each other's presence, arguing constantly over trivial matters, living separate lives under the same roof, or staying together only for children or financial reasons while secretly longing to escape, is because they built their union on the unstable foundation of physical attraction, romantic emotion, and personal need rather than on the eternal foundation of spiritual friendship, divine love, and mutual commitment to help each other evolve toward God realization. Listen carefully to this truth that will revolutionize your understanding. Marriage is not meant to make you happy through another person fulfilling your desires and completing your incompleteness. Marriage is meant to make you whole by revealing where you are selfish, immature, and ego-bound, then giving you daily opportunity to transcend these limitations by practicing unconditional love with someone who is also imperfect, also struggling, also learning. When you enter marriage expecting your partner to make you happy, you guarantee disappointment, because no human being can provide the infinite love and fulfillment that your soul ultimately seeks, which can only be found in God. But when you enter marriage offering to make your partner happy by serving them as an expression of your love for God, and when both partners maintain this consciousness, something miraculous occurs. You both become channels for divine love to flow through. And in that flow, you experience a happiness far deeper than any selfish gratification could provide. The problem is that modern society has completely distorted marriage's purpose, teaching people to seek soulmates who will complete them, when the truth is that you must first become complete through your own spiritual development, and then marriage becomes the union of two complete souls helping each other reach even higher consciousness, rather than two incomplete halves desperately clinging to each other to avoid facing their inner emptiness. When I observe married couples who come to me seeking guidance because their marriages are failing, I see the same pattern repeatedly. They married for wrong reasons. They maintain wrong consciousness. and they practice wrong behaviors, then they wonder why they are miserable. They married because of physical attraction without considering spiritual compatibility. They married because of emotional infatuation without testing whether that emotion could mature into steady divine friendship. They married because of social pressure or fear of loneliness or practical benefit, never understanding that marriage requires souls who are genuinely committed to each other's spiritual evolution above all else. And now, in their daily married life, they focus entirely on what they are getting rather than what they are giving. They criticize their partner's faults while ignoring their own. They demand their partner change to meet their expectations while refusing to change themselves, and they have completely forgotten that their partner is not their servant or their completion, but is a soul on a spiritual journey who deserves the same unconditional love and patience that they themselves want to receive. But I have also witnessed the opposite miracle. Couples who understand and apply the spiritual principles of divine marriage that I am about to teach you. These couples maintain such harmony, such deep love, such joyful partnership that they become living proof that spiritualized marriage is not only possible, but is one of the highest achievements of human consciousness. These couples have learned the secret that I will now reveal to you, that successful marriage requires both partners to seek God first through daily meditation and spiritual practice, then to see each other as manifestations of the divine deserving reverence and service, and finally to approach every interaction as opportunity to express divine love rather than to satisfy ego desires. Now let me explain with absolute precision the spiritual principles that govern harmonious marriage and how you can apply these principles starting tonight to transform your relationship. The first principle is that true marriage must be unity on three levels simultaneously: physical, mental, and spiritual. Physical unity means the bodies are attracted and compatible. Mental unity means the minds share similar values and can communicate harmoniously. And spiritual unity means the souls recognize each other as eternal companions whose destinies are intertwined across multiple lifetimes for the purpose of mutual evolution. Most marriages have only physical unity based on sexual attraction. Some have physical and mental unity creating friendship along with attraction. But rare marriages achieve all three levels of unity, creating what I call soul marriage. And only soul marriage provides the deep fulfillment and lasting harmony that people seek. The second principle is that marriage must balance the masculine and feminine energies that exist within every human being, regardless of biological sex. The masculine principle is reason, logic, discrimination, and dynamic action. The feminine principle is feeling, intuition, devotion, and receptive wisdom. Every person, whether man or woman, contains both principles, but usually one dominates. True marriage partners complement each other by balancing these energies. The more rational partner helping, the more emotional partner develop discrimination, while the more feeling partner helps the more rational partner develop heart qualities. And through this mutual exchange, both become whole, integrating both principles within themselves. The third principle is that marriage must be founded on unconditional friendship, not on need or desire or romantic emotion. Friendship is the only stable foundation because friendship means you love the person for who they are as a soul, not for what they provide you as an ego satisfaction. Friendship survives all changes in circumstance, appearance, and emotion because it is based on soul recognition and the practice. And when husband and wife are first and foremost true friends who genuinely enjoy each other's company, respect each other's nature, and support each other's growth, then their marriage cannot be destroyed by the inevitable challenges and changes that life brings. Now I give you the exact practices that will create spiritual harmony in your marriage through daily application of these principles. The first practice is the morning blessing meditation that you perform together with your spouse every single morning before beginning your day. And this practice aligns both your consciousnesses with divine purpose and establishes the spiritual frequency for your entire day. Set your alarm 15 minutes earlier than necessary and use those 15 minutes for this sacred practice. Sit facing each other in a quiet space. Close your eyes and begin by taking 10 deep breaths together in synchronization, both inhaling and exhaling at the same rhythm, creating energetic unity. After 10 breaths, open your eyes and look into each other's eyes while one partner speaks this blessing. I see God in you. You are not this body, not this personality, but eternal soul on a journey toward divine realization. Today I commit to serving you as I would serve God, to loving you as God loves you, to supporting your highest evolution above my ego desires. I honor you as my spiritual partner, and I am grateful for every lesson our marriage teaches me. Then the other partner speaks the same blessing. This practice takes less than 5 minutes, but it completely reorients your consciousness from ego-based interaction to soul-based interaction. And when you maintain this consciousness throughout your day, conflicts diminish dramatically because you are seeing your partner as divine manifestation rather than as object for your personal satisfaction. The second practice is the technique of conscious service that you apply throughout your day whenever you interact with your spouse. And this means every action you take toward your partner is done with the consciousness of serving God through serving them. When you cook a meal, you are not just feeding your spouse's body, you are offering food to God appearing as your partner. When you listen to your spouse share their concerns, you are not just hearing words, you are giving God your complete attention and compassion. When you fulfill your spouse's needs, whether physical, emotional, or practical, you are not doing duty or seeking reciprocation. You are practicing karma yoga, selfless action offered to the divine. This consciousness transforms everything because service done with divine awareness purifies your heart and dissolves selfishness, while service done with resentful obligation creates karma and hardens the heart. Additionally, practice what I call divine overlooking, which means you consciously choose to overlook your partner's minor faults, irritating habits, and imperfections, focusing instead on their good qualities and their soul's divine nature. This does not mean accepting abuse or enabling destructive behaviors. It means distinguishing between serious problems that must be addressed and trivial annoyances that ego magnifies, and choosing to let go of the trivial annoyances through conscious decision to focus on your partner's essential goodness. When both partners practice divine overlooking, the atmosphere in the home becomes peaceful because neither is constantly criticized or corrected, and in this atmosphere of acceptance, both partners naturally grow and improve without being forced. The third practice is the nighttime unity command that you perform 60 seconds before sleep in the state of quietude. And this is perhaps the most powerful practice because it programs your subconscious minds to work in harmony rather than in conflict during sleep. Tonight, as you and your spouse lie in bed ready for sleep, hold hands and take 10 slow deep breaths together. Then speak this command silently in your own mind with maximum conviction. I release all resentment, all criticism, all selfishness toward my partner. I forgive all hurts, and I ask forgiveness for my own faults. I recognize my partner as a soul learning and growing just as I am learning and growing. Our marriage serves the divine purpose of helping both souls evolve toward God realization. I command my subconscious mind to cooperate harmoniously with my partner's energy during sleep, creating unity rather than separation. Tomorrow I wake with renewed commitment to practice unconditional love, patient understanding, and selfless service in our marriage. I am not perfect, and I do not expect my partner to be perfect. We are both souls helping each other become whole. This is the truth of our marriage, and this is my commitment. As you speak these words silently, feel genuine forgiveness and release, letting go of whatever grievances accumulated during the day. Feel gratitude for your partner and for the spiritual opportunity your marriage provides. Hold this consciousness as you drift into sleep, and your subconscious will process this programming throughout the night, preparing you to be more loving and patient tomorrow. Now let me tell you what will happen in the next 24 hours after you begin applying these practices with sincere commitment. Tomorrow morning, when you perform the blessing meditation together and look into your partner's eyes while affirming their divine nature, you will feel a shift in how you perceive them, seeing beyond their personality and limitations to recognize the eternal soul that chose you as companion for this lifetime's journey. You. This recognition creates immediate softening of ego defensiveness and opening of heart compassion. Throughout tomorrow, when you practice conscious service, performing every action for your partner as offering to God, you will notice yourself feeling more peaceful and less resentful even when doing tasks you normally dislike. Because the spiritual consciousness transforms obligation into devotion. When your partner does something that would normally irritate you and you practice divine overlooking, consciously choosing to focus on their good qualities instead of criticizing their faults, you will discover that the irritation dissolves almost immediately, proving that most marital conflict arises not from actual problems, but from ego's habit of focusing on negatives. By tomorrow evening, when you review your day, you will recognize that you had fewer arguments, more harmonious interactions, and deeper connection than typical, and this evidence will motivate both partners to continue the practices. But I must give you critical understanding so you apply this teaching wisely. First, creating spiritually harmonious marriage requires both partners' commitment. And if only one partner practices these principles while the other remains unconscious and ego-driven, the conscious partner will still benefit spiritually by learning unconditional love and patience, but full harmony requires mutual dedication. If you are married to someone who refuses spiritual practice, you must practice these principles unilaterally while praying that your partner's consciousness will eventually awaken through witnessing your transformation. Second, spiritual marriage does not mean suppressing your needs or becoming doormat for abusive partner. There is profound difference between selfless service offered from love and forced servitude extracted through manipulation or fear. If your marriage involves actual abuse, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, these practices must be combined with appropriate professional help and potentially with separation for safety. Spiritual principles never demand you accept genuine harm. Third, understand that even spiritually harmonious marriages experience challenges, disagreements, and difficult periods. The difference is that spiritual couples approach challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as reasons for divorce, and they resolve conflicts through meditation, prayer, and mutual respect rather than through ego battles. Finally, remember that the ultimate purpose of marriage is not the marriage itself, but God realization, and marriage serves this purpose by teaching unconditional love, ego surrender, and selfless service that prepare the soul for divine union. I have spent my entire life teaching that every human relationship, and especially marriage, can become a spiritual practice when approached with right consciousness. The married couples who deeply understand and apply these principles report complete transformation of their relationships and their lives. Their marriages become sources of joy rather than suffering. Their homes become temples where divine love flows. Their partnerships become spiritual yogas, accelerating both souls toward liberation. And they discover that the greatest treasure of marriage is not romantic fulfillment or physical pleasure or emotional security, but the profound blessing of having a soul companion who helps you become better than you could become alone, who loves you enough to show you your faults, who believes in you enough to support your growth, and who walks beside you on the eternal journey home to God. The practices I have given you are your keys to this transformation. Tomorrow morning, perform the blessing meditation together. Throughout tomorrow, practice conscious service and divine overlooking. Tomorrow night before sleep, perform the unity command. Continue these practices for 7 consecutive days, and your marriage will shift noticeably toward greater harmony. Continue for 30 days, and the changes will be profound and stable. Continue for years, and you will create the rare, spiritually harmonious marriage that inspires all who witness it. Subscribe to this channel because I teach the ancient spiritual wisdom that transforms every dimension of life. Write in the comments now, my marriage is a sacred partnership guiding both souls toward God. This declaration activates your commitment. The teaching is complete. Your marriage awaits transformation. Will you continue living as ego-seeking gratification, or will you become soul-offering love? The choice determines whether your marriage becomes prison or temple. Begin tomorrow morning. Transform your consciousness. Discover that marriage's true purpose is not to make you happy, but to make you holy, and in becoming holy, through practicing divine love, you discover happiness deeper than any selfish pleasure could provide. The spiritually harmonious marriage you seek is possible. It requires commitment. It requires practice. It requires both partners choosing daily to see each other as souls, to serve each other as God, and to use every interaction as opportunity to express unconditional love. Begin tomorrow. Create the sacred union. Become the divine partners you were meant to be.